This is the day where we have 80 jerseys that blend into one blue river. One blue river that flows constantly. The end of the river, the empty end of the sea as one. That's how we roll.
Hello and welcome to the Serra High School football podcast. How are you, Coach Walsh?
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. We didn't coordinate, but we are coordinated.
We are.
It looks that way.
We are. We're looking hard because we're going into the playoffs.
It's a black dress day. It looks like
exactly.
So
exactly.
Black earphones. We're ready.
We're ready to roll.
Playoff time.
I love it. It's playoff time. Yeah, exactly. So we're hard. So first of all, we're going to recap the game with a final score against SI. It was our season. The end of our season and, end of our league season, pardon me, with an undefeated record, which is awesome. But I also wanted to first just give a little shout out to the freshmen who we both watched our sons play a wonderful season, and they went undefeated as well. And let's just talk about that team for a second. Just give them a little love.
It was great. They had completed a 9-0 season. They played a similar schedule to us. They played De La Salle and Folsom and all the WCL schools, and it's a really, really talented group of kids. And what I'm most excited about with that group is how much they love being Padres.
Oh, yeah.
And they just really, and obviously Ken Peralta and our staff down there does a great job of just throwing in like what it means to be a Padre when they get here in June. So there's a couple months ahead of time. You know, we don't do cuts, so there's 100 kids on the team. And it was a very kind of great way to get the fall started with the freshman group.
Definitely.
And I really, and obviously it's tight for me, or intimate, if you will,
of course,
because Charlie's there,
of course,
and your son is there, and it's really cool to see the inner working, the relationships, and it's a really, really good team. And Coach Peralta said, you know, there's really no punks on this team.
That's great.
And sometimes, you know, in an all boys school with, 800 kids or whatever, or a football program with 100 kids on a team, you just get some personalities that don't mesh. And again, we're not perfect. I would never say that Sarah's perfect and our institution is, on the gold mountaintop. It's not. But this class really seems to like each other, and that's a great starting point for building the Ohana for the next few years. And they're talented. There's some really good talent in that class, some great kids, obviously great coaching on the freshman level. So it was good to see the weekend end with a 9-0 finish for the freshmen.
Definitely. And I do want to just agree with you. Those kids are really, really talented. They do not look like freshmen, really. I mean, maybe a little bit in size, but definitely not in skill. And it was just a great season. The coaches are amazing.
Yeah.
The team moms were amazing. I mean, there was just so many helping hands. So it was a wonderful experience.
And we brought up 13 of them for the playoffs. And that's a
lot.
It's more than we ever have. And there's probably more deserving kids to bring up, but I can't bring up everybody. But we brought up 13 freshmen, and they've been practicing the last couple of days with us, and they don't look out of place with this team. They don't look out of place. It's like, wow, they got good size, they got good speed, they got athleticism. They're not distractions. They're not like the freshmen sometimes you bring up and they're like, they're not afraid. They're not timid or nervous. Yeah, great words. They're not any of that. So it gives us great hope for the future and excitement too, because we want to work with great families and great kids. And if we can spend time coaching and leading and directing and mentoring and not having to worry about all the teenage drama and chaos and which happens, but more focused on building the family and the Ohana and all those fun things, it allows for just a better environment that can continue to elevate. So we'll see what happens.
That's great. Now, tell me just really quickly, as you brought up that you brought some of the lower level or lower classmen. What is your strategy on that? Like, how is that to build leaders? Is that to get them familiar with the varsity program? What is your strategy for that? Well,
I turn it over to my lower level coaches, whom I trust implicitly. I trust them so much, and they nominate players that they feel deserve to be up. So how that looked for the JV team with Coach Vignal and those guys and Coach Peralta is, they have their own kind of measuring stuff on that. Like, we think this guy belongs up. We think this guy deserves an opportunity to come up. And I don't really ask questions. I just say, okay, let's go. We bring those guys up. So we have 21 total players that we've brought up from the lower levels.
That's great.
Again, the most that we've ever had. And we have the ability to feed them and put them on buses. And, and so it's not a distraction for us. That's the one rule I have for them. You have been selected by your coaches. You've been nominated for this opportunity, which is a great opportunity. And I have one rule, and if you are not to be a distraction. So we have a 10-0 football team, and we are introducing them into our Ohana. And as long as they're learning and they're doing what we ask them to do and not being distractions, they can stay on the team. If that changes and we've never had to kick any call-ups off the team, then I deal with it at that point. But I'm very excited to have 13 freshmen, and I think it was 14 freshmen and 7 JV players for 21. And the future looks bright for us. I mean, we're obviously senior night. I was in tears on senior night. Like,
That's a
whoa,
big one, yeah.
Whoa. I mean, I'm always crying on senior night because we developed such great relationships and bonds with the seniors. And this is a unique class due to the uniqueness of how we came together in 2020. And to see 30 or so, 31 or 32 of them,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's a starter, that's a starter, that's a starter, that's a starter. Oh, he might be one of the best we've ever had. Oh my gosh, he's a great player. He's a great player.
Coming right down the line, that would have been emotionally difficult.
Oh my gosh.
You must want to do that at the end of the game.
Yeah, let's do it at the end, or maybe at the end of the season when everything's over. So it's a bittersweet moment for me because it's a great way to thank the families, and the families showed out like, man, they came in deep.
It was beautiful.
Whoa. I mean, there were shirts and signs and balloons and
some of those boys had more lays. You could barely see their head.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the lays up to here, and it was a fabulous celebration of the Padre football Ohana, and a fabulous celebration of seniors who played in their last night game and have given their heart and soul to this program in this school, and they've done nothing but bring positive feelings about who we are as Padres, and I told them, I think it was after the game, or I told them before the game in chapel that life isn't about what you say, life's about what you do, and what you do is how you're going to be judged. So you can say what you want to say, and actions speak so loudly I can't hear what you're saying.
Right.
So the actions of the team that night was very, very fantastic. Just in terms of how we are, how we carried ourselves, sportsmanship, and we're a hard-hitting, tough team. We had some personal fouls. This is a weird thing. Now I'm getting into high school football. Am I talking too much?
No, this is great.
I'm just rolling right now.
I'm actually really, you're doing my entire storyline.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
No, it's great. It's wonderful. This is exactly what I was hoping to achieve.
Okay, good. So you put the quarter in, and I feel like I'm just talking.
You've been trained well.
Well, I guess I'm just, it's happening. I think I have ADD. I don't know, but I know someone close to me does. So I think, I mean, which is fine. I'm not saying that in a bad thing, but now I'm thinking back into my high school days and just trying to pay attention and things like that. So I just keep rolling. I'm rolling right now. Yeah. It's a positive thing, I think. So now I've lost my train of thought, but.
So we were going into the game. We were talking about just some
personal fouls. And SI had a personal foul in the end zone. And I'm like, I don't think that was a personal foul. And there are a couple, there's bang plays, and our guys are talented. They hit hard. And we always ask them to play the game right. And there's some bang plays that happened in the night. And so we had some personal fouls that could have gone either way. Definitely going to use it as a learning opportunity to study, ask the referees, like, what can we do different? Because the last thing we want to do, there's defenseless receivers and defenseless players, and that's really the question is when someone's defenseless, how do you interrupt the play, or how do you tackle them, or how do you, you clearly can't launch and you clearly can't lead with your head. If you launch, you fly in the air, and you lead with the crown of your helmet, it's very, very clear you're out.
Right.
It's a 15-yard personal foul, and you could get ejected. And if you get ejected from this game forward, you're out for the playoffs. You're done. So that rule got put into place for people who fight in the CCS playoffs. So if you fight, and you should be thrown out, and you should never come back, because fighting is just we don't fight.
Lowest level.
Yeah. Lowest. We get it. But if you get ejected for targeting, they call it, in the CCS playoffs, you are also out. You're treated just as if you had thrown a punch or choked someone or something crazy.
So it's considered very intentional.
It's considered very intentional. And so we, as coaches, need to train our players. It's 2023. And when someone's defenseless, you can't launch and fly into them and lead with the crown of your head and knock people out. It's not okay ever. But now there's rules that claim that it's not okay.
Right. It'd be a big jeopardy to the team. But it's got to be hard too, because sometimes, you're trying to get the ball. You're not really I mean, sometimes it's unintentional, right?
It is
an unintended circumstance.
Right, right. And I think, you know, our players, they know when a player is probably defenseless. Okay, so then what? So what was told to me that night is if you're, you know, going as fast as you can, as hard as you can, and you wrap up, then it becomes less of a targeting opportunity or even a defenseless call. So targeting's targeting,
right.
Hitting a defenseless player is a 15-yard penalty. Targeting call is a 15-yard penalty and an ejection.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we didn't have any ejections because nobody launched, led with their helmet, thank God. No one got hurt that night. And again, SI had one too that I was like, that kid was just playing hard and hit Keon in the end zone, and he got a 15-yard penalty. So it's something that we're going to use to get better. And the last thing we need is for someone to end their football career at Serra with a targeting call.
That could be a game changer for the team if it's the wrong leader or something. I mean, there's just so many ways that could go. So
totally. And in today's world, regard if it's a Serra player or Salinas player or anyone else, if someone launches and targets and takes someone out, they should be ejected. So it's our responsibility to train, to say, hey, look, we're a blue-collared, we're a hard-nosed football team, no doubt about it. But there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So let's go back to the positives. It was a beautiful night where there's always lessons and wins and losses. The night game is such a special night. It's so great. The yellow towels, the gold towels in the end zone. The student bodies showed up. It was full. There was great alumni here. You know, it was a celebration of everything that's Serra High School. And I thought the band, the national anthem with the tri-school band was just like, wow, this is a high school football game. Saturdays don't feel the same. They just don't. And
there was a buzz, and we also did have some pretty famous alums did show up. Barry Bonds was here, and so was James Outman. So baseball came for football. They played football too, I guess,
they did
in their day.
Yeah.
But that was kind of cool too. That always leads a little bit more excitement, which is
it does. And this is it's just a small little all boys Catholic school in the San Francisco Peninsula, but it's created goats.
Totally.
I mean, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player of all time. He's the best hitter of a baseball who's ever walked the planet.
And he's been great about coming back and supporting Serra lately. I mean, he came to the alumni game back in the spring, talked to the boys, and then, of course, coming out on Friday night. It was just, and he was shaking hands and smiling. He's just a really stand-up guy.
And we have one of our boards, for our signs.
Is it?
And he signed it. So we're like, oh, man, can we use that? Now I can't use that board. I mean, it's got Barry Bonds.
You got to get a picture of him on the board.
Or we hold up the board and his signature's on there. It's like, wow, that's pretty legit. We got...
It's pretty cool.
Now we need Brady's and everyone else's, but it's a really cool place to be. It's a very cool school. And I think there's, just the pride that all students feel when they walk on this campus. It runs deep. And to have James Outman, who's starting for the Dodgers out there, and Barry Bonds, and these guys are legends. We watch them on TV.
And just walking around, saying hello to everyone. And I mean, obviously amid a million other very, very important and significant alums as well that just might not have played baseball. But I mean, it's just it's a real friendly community. Yeah.
And I think for me, just knowing that regardless of what the organization is, people like winners. People want to be associated with a good product. They want to be associated with it. They want to stand on the sidelines or be a part of something or invest in a company that they believe in.
Right.
And what gave me a little sense of accomplishment was knowing that, like Creighton Felice, he was in the U.S. Army, and even guys that are in junior college, and these players all come back and they still want to be a part of it, which says something about the product, if you will. Like,
absolutely,
we're continuing to put on the field something that people who were here 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago can be proud of. And I don't take that lightly at all. I own that. And when we don't play well, it literally devours my soul. Like, and I don't mean play well, I mean how we act. And it's not about playing well. We can fumble and throw intercept. Like kids, like we make mistakes, but it's more like just that behavioral aspect of you're wearing a Serra jersey. You know how much that means to people? Like it's a big deal to wear that jersey. There's like James Outman over here was the WCL Player of the Year as a linebacker, and he's representing us, playing for the LA Dodgers. I know it hurts our Giants fans around here, but but he looked at me in the eye.
Makes us like the Dodgers a little more, though.
Oh, I love the Dodgers. Favorite team's the Dodgers now. I love the Dodgers. And Packers with Bakhtiari, and it was. But you know, it's just knowing that he's there, and he looked me in the eye and said, "Coach, I believe like a lot of who I am is what I learned here and through Serra football and through you and the staff and the school." And I'm like,
it's amazing.
That's pretty cool. That's the payback. That's the payout, if you will, for a high school football coach. And I felt the same sense of pride when David Tuipulotu or Tuke Tuipulotu way back in the day, Padres back in the day, said, you know, I got my daughter is, you know, she's a star, and I just want to tell you, like, the things that you taught me is helping me with my daughter right now.
It's amazing.
So he's a better father because of what we're doing. I'm just saying, you know, we're going into the playoffs now, but there is a time to step back and celebrate some accomplishments, and those are the things that, you know, when it's all said and done, I'm not going to count banners or wins, or when it's all said and done, it's going to be those conversations that stick with me for the rest of my life. And that night was a special night for a lot of those reasons.
That's great. I mean, it's all about the values, you know, the takeaways, like you said. I mean, that's building these men that we see roaming our campus, you know, at night games, which is great. And speaking of the night game, it was 43-10. I don't think we ever said the score of the SI game, which then led to our undefeated 10-0 season, which is great. Tell me about how you felt when we got the brackets on Sunday morning when the brackets came out.
So we had an incident in 2014 where we forfeited a game, and I stand by it, and I'd do it again. I might have do it differently. But we forfeited a game in the CCS, and we got suspended for a year. And it was actually 2 years, but we worked it out to where it was 1 year. So the 2015 team, even though we had a great season, that was Hunter Bishop's senior year, we didn't get a chance to play in the playoffs because I forfeited a game it was a consolation football game, and football is a tough game, and I didn't believe that was the right thing to do. And through a lot of turmoil and pain and chaos, I forfeited the game on the day of the game, and I wish I would have done it sooner. And therefore, if you break rules, you face punishments. But with that said, I've pretty much ejected myself from that day from any conversation about it. Mm-hmm. And I was the league rep, and then I'm not the league rep and haven't been since that day. And now it's just, you tell me where to go, who to play, how to do it. I know when it comes to football, you get rewarded for being at the top of the food chain, and you get less rewards at the bottom of the food chain. So, to be honest with you, Amy, the playoffs have changed probably 15 times or 10 times since I've been here. Wow. The section, and I respect the people who are running the section. Greg Calcagno is our league rep for WCIL. No better man to do it. He's a fantastic league rep for us. He's got street cred, and he's an ambassador for our league, but also for the section. His dad was, a famed WCL coach at St. Francis. The stadium, Ron Calcagno Stadium, is named after him. Wow. So Greg is coaching in his father's stadium, if you will. So, it just, the section has a lot of challenges. The section has a lot of challenges because there's very, very strong private schools like Serra and St. Francis and everyone else. And it's a largely public school section. And obviously, the minority in this situation are the public school or private schools, and it's a big problem. And it's a big challenge for, like I said in our state game. I said when we played St. John Bosco last year, well, we're not really comparing apples to apples in this game, and I took some heat for that. But what I was referring to was they have 20 to 25 transfers a year. We have 0 or 1. Mm-hmm. It's just different. Our business model's different. And that's okay. That's just what they have to do to stay above. And that's how that down in Southern California, it's transfer city.
Right.
That's just how it rolls. So as it relates to publics and privates in this entire state, it's a different business model. Public schools have boundaries, private schools do not. Right. So if someone from Sacramento wants to come play for Serra, they can. There's no rule against it. The starting quarterback for, Mike Perotti, Serra grad, and amazing football coach at Hillsdale High School, cannot be from Sacramento.
Right.
So I'm just being honest. It's not really comparing apples to apples either, and the section has to deal with that. So with all that said, I just step away and whatever they tell us to do,
right.
Because I know it's a tough situation and I've been involved in it and I felt pain from it. So now it's just whatever you tell us to do, the Padres are going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting point though. I mean, that's something I didn't really even think of, right? I mean, just that, I mean, we are completely playing with, you know, these are the neighborhood boys, right? Versus, yeah, it's different. So we play Salinas. So we are the 1 and they are the 8.
Seed. Yep.
And do you know a lot about Salinas? Like, what can you tell me?
Well, we played them last year.
And Palma too, right? We played Salinas.
Yeah,
and
we
Palma.
played Salinas and Palma High School. You know, obviously both from Salinas. And Jeff Carnazzo, I've known for years, a wonderful man. He's the head coach at Palma High School, and Coach Zank has been at Salinas for a long time. Has built a great powerhouse program. You know, so we have some history of playing Salinas. We played them once, played them last year, and it was one of those kind of everything went well, perfect games for Serra. And that was one of Salinas' best teams, and they came in here. They got a tough draw, I think, last year, and we really played all 3 phases of the game really, really well. And I'm focused this week on our team. Like, don't be schedule picking and all the scoreboard stuff. Like, oh, we played them last year. Totally different world, totally different deal, totally different team. They now have the experience of waking up in the morning, coming down here from Salinas and doing, you know, they have more of an advantage this year because they've done it before.
Right.
So for me, again, it's all about us. You know, there is no them, only us. I just want to continue to focus on ourselves and be the best version of ourselves every single moment of every single day, every time we get that opportunity to do so, day in and day out. So that's how I'm handling the playoffs.
Awesome. That was my next question, was how is your preparation leading up to this game? So there you go.
Just, I don't really know any other way to do it. That's kind of my center now.
Right. And how's the team's morale and camaraderie, everything?
Great.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It's just like this, the last couple of days of practice have been probably our best practices of the year.
Right.
Largely because of those 21 children of God that we brought up from the lower levels.
That's right.
And they always bring like that youthful exuberance and the excitement, and they're like puppy dogs out there, like
bet.
You know. So it always I always love this week, the first week of playoffs, because of that purpose, and it's really brought a young kind of infectious energy to the team. That, you know, week 10, it's like,
right.
You know, it's, oh my God, we got to do this again.
Everyone gets kind of tired, right?
Mondays, you know, Tuesdays, gasser day. I got to hit this guy. And so it's been a breath of fresh air. So I think it's been good so far.
That's great. That's great. Are there any standout performances or improvements by players that you've noticed this week or last week that you're excited to see grow?
It was nice to see Jojo Latu again on the field on defense. So we're working him on the field more. He did a good job the other night. He's playing a position he hasn't played much. I mean, he's one of the better linebackers in the section. And, you know, he had his injury that he's had to deal with.
Right.
Number 4 for those, you know, that know numbers, not names. But he, you know, we're trying to find a role for him. It's been a challenge because obviously Danny and Jabari are in front of him, just fantastic players, obviously. And we have a very, very deep running back group. You know, Jaden Green had another great night. I thought he did, you know, 3-way player.
Unbelievable.
Had a great night. Nana Latu gets in there. He's like a bolt of lightning. There's a ton of depth. You know, there's a ton of depth, and people are navigating their way through there. I like to talk about Brooks. Brooks had 2 passes, 2 touchdowns. Right. His first 2 passes. He's been a total weapon in the special teams game. Having athletes all over the field, you know, even with Padre played, he was a wide receiver in 7-on-7 passing in the summer. And I went to a couple games that Charlie was playing in, and these 7-on deals. Yeah. And Padre's out there catching the ball. Like, I can catch.
Totally.
And so that was a special moment, I thought.
He's a great athlete all around.
Yeah, totally. And our offense is really, really having a great season. They're actually grading out better than the defense.
That's amazing.
And I think it's great. And I say that because, you know, obviously the defense gets a ton of shine all the time, and everyone loves the defense, but our offense likes to say, well, we have one more goal than the defense.
Right. And again, going from the beginning of this, even the beginning of our podcast, the beginning of the season, when we were like, okay, who's going to step up and be, you know, make that connection with Milwaukee, right? I mean, we talked about that at length on the first podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Keon Loud has done a wonderful job of jumping in there at the wide receiver spot. That's where his heart is, his love, and he's a weapon out there.
And he just committed, right?
He did just commit to Montana, which is a great spot.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's a big deal.
I know, it's great. So December 20th, we'll be doing a big signing day, and Keon will be signing his letter of intent, playing for Montana, the Grizz.
Awesome.
So that's really cool.
It's going to be exciting to see where a lot of these boys go, because there's a lot of offers out there.
Yeah, December is going to be fun. It's going to be a very fun month for people, coming to completion of their high school football career. And then again, that senior night shows that they're going to be celebrated. This is a great group. It's a great group.
I guess I should plug those that signed yesterday too. We had 3 baseball commits. Joey D'Amelio at Pepperdine. Let's see, we've got Jake Downing for Cal Poly. Ryan Pettis for basketball for Fordham. Yeah. And hold on, his name is right here. For St. Mary's, it was Sam.
Oh, Kretsch.
Kretsch. Yeah, I could think. I was like, you can see his face right there. I was like, wait, I saw him. Anyway, congratulations to those guys. That's a big deal. Yeah, all wonderful athletes and great Padres.
All future James Outmans, future pros. No pressure, but
anyway, moving on back to football. I just thought that since that was it.
Yeah.
So call out questions. We went ahead and did a call out just for random questions earlier in the week.
Okay.
One of them, the team has a cumulative GPA of 3.6. Congratulations, boys. What strategies do you use as a coach to support student athletes in their academic pursuits?
So this is the beautiful thing about Serra is every teacher on campus is a counselor, is a tutor, is anything that they need to be academically. And there's nothing there's actually nothing that I need to do. Like, hey, we're going to have an extra study session, or I'm going to force you to get up here in the morning, because we don't do that. All I always do is say, you need to go talk to your teachers.
Right.
And the rule I have with our team is, if you have any academic issues that conflict with Serra football, you don't even need to ask me. You need to tell me. You don't have to ask me. You're gone. You stay late. You come early. Whatever you need to do. You can miss a lift. You can miss a practice. You can miss a week. Whatever you need to do, you're doing that academically. So that's kind of our rules. So we can show and be student athletes and actually talk and do that, as opposed to just saying that. So because of that culture here, kids feel comfortable to be with their teachers and to get what they need to get done in the classroom first, because we know it's not athlete student, it's student athlete. And I think the question asks, what do? I don't do anything. I just make sure that we celebrate it. We talk about grades all the time. We put it first. There is no time ever that, hey, you need to be at the lift and you're not going to go do your extra training with, Kevin Carey and AP history. Like, no, we don't do that.
Right.
So just simple things like that.
Right. Awesome. Well, I was fiddling with my phone because most of them are on my phone, but the next one is, can you talk about the O-line? People were asking, can you give the O-line some love? Can you talk about that
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the O-line graded out at 89% last week, which is the highest grade we've had. And the team accomplished a 12 for 12 goal completion for the first time this year.
And this last game?
This last game, we went 12 for 12, and that was why we had a rambunctious chapel. I read the 4 offensive goals, 4 defensive goals. They both went 4 for 4, and I got to the last special teams one, which is always are we going to get it? And we got it, and everyone jumped out of their chairs. And it's hard to go 12 for 12. There's only been 2 other times that we've actually done it.
Wow.
So this is the 3rd time in Serra history we've done it, and in large part due to our O-line. Our offense has been spectacular, and our offensive line. We move the ball, we pass protect, we keep Malawaki clean in the pocket. We get all sorts of different looks, all sorts of different fronts. And Gio Rivecchio has been playing left tackle for the last 2 years. John Holthouse has been playing right tackle for the last 2 years. Eli Shamia has been playing right guard with Mason Penasini Sarita for the last 2 years. He's been doing a great job. Jonah Alapati has been our center, but also Eli's been playing center. Robert Wolfgram's got in there and played some center. And we have a freshman left guard in Laimani Fahoko.
Yes.
And
a name everybody will know.
A name everybody will know. There's no doubt. If they don't know it yet,
if they don't already, that's what I just
That's
said.
exactly right. So he has a couple offers already. One from an SEC school. He's a fantastic young talent, and
was nationally recognized this week as one of the top 20 best freshman high school players nationally.
That's right.
That's amazing.
And fair. It's a fair assessment. So, next to him is one of the best overachievers of all time, in Gio Rivecchio. I think he's right around 200 pounds or maybe under 200 pounds. And he fights like a Serra Padre. He knows exactly where to go. He's a great kid. I'm proud of him. He went up against some NFL players at St. John Bosco last year, and no one got to the quarterback. And it's one of those things, people think, oh, Serra, and we do have great talent. I'm sorry. But in certain instances, we're a high school football team, and we're an overachieving high school football team in many, many positions. And I would say Gio is probably the poster child for overachievement. someone who, you look out there and it's like, wait, I expect him to look like John Holthouse, who's the right tackle, who's 6'7", 300-something pounds, and going to Colorado State. So that actually fits what you would think is Serra all the way. And to have guys like Gio that are Padres and not skipping a beat, the O-line's been spectacular. Coach Afamui, Elijah Falau, has done a fantastic job. He won a state championship in 2017. This has given me the opportunity. Last year we kind of did it together. He asked me for some advice on things, but it's his show, and he's really done a fantastic job of coaching that offensive line. I'm very, very proud of that group.
That's great. Thank you. I think that people are going to be very happy with that answer too. It's very detailed, and thank you for that. Yep. Another question that came in, do they keep running clock games as a stat? It says, was this year the most games played with a running clock?
Interesting. I would say no. The answer is no. They do. That is not a stat. But I will say in the 10 games that we've played since I've been here, it is definitely the most running clocks we've had since I've been here at Serra in any 10-game season. Okay. I told you that the rule is 35 points in the fourth quarter. It's a mandated rule, but a coach can decide or ask, hey, we want to run the clock, and you can do that at any point in the game. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, whenever.
But it has to be at that. You got to reach that point.
No, you don't have to reach that point.
Anytime you can just say, I want to run the clock.
I could come out the first play and say, you know what, I don't really want to play the Niners today, and can we run the clock and get out of here as soon as you can? There's no rule. Now Coach Shanahan would have to say yes.
I see.
So he can decline that. So generally when it's asked, it's not the first quarter. There's something going on in the game where the score's lopsided, and if someone asks me to do it before the fourth quarter, I always say yes, because that's their way of saying, hey, my team it's ready to roll. And other coaches say, we're gonna play these 3 quarters, and if it's 35 points in the fourth quarter, we're gonna run the clock, and we'll just play by the rules. So
nice.
Yeah.
And the next question is, how does it feel to be a Padre coach? Which I thought would be a good parlay. An additional question would just be, or not question, but I would love it if you just kind of give a shout out to all your coaches, because it was a wonderful undefeated season before playoffs. So give some love to them as well, like the O-line.
Yes, it's a great crew. It's a very, very great crew, great staff. I'm so blessed to have them. It'll like any good relationship, I can be the best version of myself because those guys can be the best version of themselves, and they give so much to these kids. And I only know, I was a Texas coach for a season at the University of Texas. That was fun. I was a De La Salle coach for 3 years, and I've been the head coach at Serra now for 23. So I think it feels great to be a Padre coach personally. And there's been ups and downs and challenges, and we've had some adult drama. We've had some staffs that weren't like this. And that's part of navigating being a high school football coach is navigating and building the family and building the team that is built on trust and love and support. And I think we have a very unique, we have a WhatsApp channel where we communicate, and we were up all night WhatsApp. My wife's like, what are you laughing about? I'm like, I couldn't even.
Take too long to describe it. Take too long to tell you.
Coach Mons had me in stitches last night laughing. And it's a really, really good group of men that are here to build, boys into men. And I'm going to tell you again, I've been doing this for a long enough time to know that I'm not going to take any of this for granted. It can change in a second. Right. And, as we pause and look back on our 10-0 season, went back to back, 5, 6, 7 years ago, no one would ever have bet on that. And it's a testament to this coaching staff and these great families and kids here at Serra.
That's awesome. Great answer. The next couple of questions I think are really not relevant for this podcast, because they're asking about if we,
all right, let's have it.
But it's like, how will you beat, St. John Bosco or, Mater Dei if you play them. But these are kind of questions I don't know if you want to
That's a great question for another time.
That's what I mean. So I'm going to keep that. Well, the other one is, how Well, how does it feel to be a Padre coach? Talk more about the O-line. They need more love. And then some of them wanted us to go back to where we were calling out the name, and you would give me an attribute.
Oh, boy. Do you have some names?
I can think of a bunch of names. Do you want me just to throw out? So you just talked about Gio. Let's go with Gio.
Overachiever.
All right. You already said that. Okay. Let's go with, did we do Brooks Trimmer last time?
Athlete.
All right. Let's go with Keon Loud.
Playmaker.
Okay. Let's go with Malawaki Smith.
Stoic. He just came to me like stoic.
Yeah.
He's just, he's the best poker face ever. He just threw a dime to Harrison.
That's good. That's good. Tommy Gooch.
Just threw a pick. Just whatever. He's very stoic.
He just keeps going.
I love it. and he's fantastic. Oh my gosh. We're lucky to have him. Clutch. Tommy Gooch. Clutch.
Nice. Let's go with Timo.
The Joker. Prankster.
Yeah.
Prankster. Love him.
We already did Neo Bay. We did all of those guys last time. So
Timo's great.
Spink.
Passion. Just
Totally.
passion.
Good answer.
Man, he loves Sarah.
Rosie, give me some call outs.
I don't know if anyone loves Sarah more than Spink.
I don't either.
I don't think it's possible. Harrisons.
Both Harrisons.
Twins. No.
Yeah. That's a good one. Tall.
Tall.
Talented.
Definitely tall. Talented.
Braden Augusta will be next. Now my brain's going.
Gosh, you're killing me. Let's see. Well, first of all, Cole, I'm just going to say hands, and Chase, tough.
Very cool.
I'm just thinking of their physical abilities there. Augusta, overachiever, which is 2 words, but
not if you hyphenate it.
True. Thank you. Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a great route runner. And you can't sleep on him. A lot of people just, we're not going to cover that guy. You have to cover him, because he's going to make you pay. Right. And he's another guy that would fit kind of this Western Court most improved player. I'm very proud of him. He's done such a great job.
All right. My final is Jaden Lim.
Surprise. Like maybe the biggest surprise of the year. He's crushing it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm surprised, but filling Jaden Weber's shoes, he plays a ton of baseball. He's a great baseball player. So he wasn't around much in the summer. I mean, he's made a huge impact on this team. Huge. And it's a message to all undersized high school football players on the planet that you can play on, one of the highest ranked teams in the country if you put your heart into it and you're tough. That's a word I'd go in there. He's tough. Sometimes he's got to go in there and block linebackers, and that's not a fun thing for a guy like that. But, we didn't skip a beat with, Jaden was so special in that slot position. And to see Jaden Lim kind of pick up that banner and carry that tradition, it's kind of becoming a tradition now. A little slot, fast, tough guy. Like
last few years.
Man, and with Seamus Gilmartin, you kind of got the yin and yang of slot receivers, the big dude you got to deal with and the little scat guy you got to deal with. So I know that's been fun for Malawaki to have those guys really, really, really step up for the team.
That's awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Coach. So Saturday we play here at 1 o'clock, Salinas game. It is a CCS game, which is different from our league games. So I think that different rules apply with ticket purchasing and parking and such. So definitely go to our website, padrefootball.com, to find out more about that. And we're looking forward to a wonderful start of the playoffs. And I thank you so much for your time and your talent and everything, and all of your coaches, of course. So go Padres.
Thank you.
Thank you.